Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the entities. Hooray! Um, Basically, I'm just going to kind of breeze through them. I will provide a link in the description below to a tutorial which shows you exactly what these funcs actually do. So he actually built a little map which shows you all that stuff. I'm not going to bother with that process since he's done it. It is in French though, so you don't understand French and you're not going to understand what he's saying, but it's just simply to show you what what they actually do in game, which is really useful. So basically, I'm also also going to include a file which you can download, which includes the Urban Terra specific, like these entities, include all the weapons and such. Also include the measure, which shows you how high a player's height is while crouching or standing, how far they can jump, and how far they fall to kill them at different levels. I will also include the shader list.txt file, the common.shader file, and the common textures. Okay, they are all pre-put in their folders, so all you need to do is just drag it over, providing you are in the program files folder. So it's all this stuff will be included. So what I would do is I would get rid of that. Okay, so first we have decal. Now we're not going to bother at all with this. Okay, it is not useful. Skybox is a tricky one. I'm not going to bother doing it, but if someone really wants to know how you can use it, I will show you. But what I can actually show you is what I got here. It's because I put it, because this map at the moment I've got it using a one of these, okay, which you cannot see anything because it's not up here. Okay, with that skybox entity, you create a separate room out of view of the skybox area. Okay, you create a mini version of what you want the skybox to show. So I show you that there. And what do you know? You can see the scale, so how far you want it to show and such. Okay, so that's that. So ammo, let me tell you what does not work, what you should not bother with trying. Anything in that, okay? That does not come with it. That is something that does not even work with Urban Terra, so I don't even know why I have it in there. The keyboard interface does not work, okay? Do not bother. Not for Urban Terra. Don't use that. Recommended not to with that. Okay, and do not use that. Okay, you can, but I just really recommend not. Okay, there's not much point. Just use info player start, bomb site, and spawn. Okay, use null for locations, direction sort of things, which you get to later on, as always say. Nothing in there is for Urban Terra. You got Light Junior. I'm not exactly sure what Light Junior does, so I just used Light. We told you about that one. MISC model to import MD3 or ASE models into the map. Camera, that is for, you can put a camera somewhere in the map and you can put a surface somewhere else using the if you put a surface, you can use the mirror surface and point it into the mirror and you create a mirror. If you use the camera, camera, you got the camera there, which I haven't included in the shader list, but that use that for a camera surface and you target it to the that. And then you're going to teleport destination. Okay, so if you're going to include a teleportation system sort of thing in your map, okay, you use that. Creates kind of a pad sort of thing like that, and they'll teleport on top of that, and that's where they'll end up. Really useful. Path, do not use that. Use that one. That is for the train. Okay, do not use that as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that one. Don't use that. Use that. Okay, that does not work. That does, sort of. And do not use that. Use that. Okay, it's just the same. Do not use any of those. Everything except that works in this kind of folder thing. You can use that, and that. Yeah, so there we go. Those three, I do not recommend using those, okay, because you can use info ut spawn. Trigger, all of those work. Those are all the weapons, and got Mr. Sentry there even, where he is. There he is. Weapon, don't use any of those, and just always leave that alone. Okay. So, as I will point you to the video, but I'll tell you quickly, this bobs up and down, side to side, whatever direction you want, for however long you want. Breakable, you can change this noise it makes when you break it, okay, so you shoot it, slice it, whatever, and it will break it. Okay, you change the noise so it will break like glass or break like wood, anything like that. Func button, use that to target something. It's commonly used in death run maps. Okay, use that to press the button and it will activate something. Okay, such as a door. This is a side to side, up and down door. Okay, that can only do that. You can change the speed, change noise it makes. Although it doesn't actually say in here that you can change noise. Oops. Door. It does not say you can change the noise. However, create one of these. Rotating door. You can set these in it. Okay, and that'll do the same job as it does in this one. Okay. Now while I'm on this one, just so you know, you cannot change the speed of it, otherwise it will stuff it up. Okay, you cannot. You must have an origin brush, as it will tell you. Yeah. Okay, so you use the origin brush as the hinge of the door. Okay, so where you want the door to rotate around, you put the origin brush there, not inside it, on the outside of it, not inside anything else. Okay, it's got to be out by itself. Otherwise, if you compile with Radiant, you're going to get entity leak. Okay, that's what. Func group, I showed you this one earlier on. Okay, this is not, it does not actually do anything. You can change some lighting for it, but otherwise it does not actually do anything. It's basically just for kind of being able to select everything at once that's in that group. Okay, Func pendulum, it acts like a pendulum. You know what a pendulum does? Kind of swings side to side, pretty much. Func plat, that is kind of a doorway. It's used on some maps where it'll sit either top or bottom of wherever it goes. Okay, it can only go up and down, and or side to side. I think it goes side to side. But as soon as the player goes on it, it'll move to the other position. Okay, so as soon as you hop on top of it, it'll move to the other position. Okay, and it will not move back until you hop off it. Okay, Func rotating, that is something that will rotate and rotate and rotate. It will not stop, and you cannot stop it. Okay, you set the speed of it, which direction it rotates in, and such. That's about it you can do with it. And obviously you need an origin brush, same as the rotating door, in the middle of where you want it to rotate around. A func static, and what was short that is. Let's just take a little looky. I think it's something. Okay, so can be used as pretty much walls. Okay, well you can just read through the notes if you're not exactly sure anyway, but I'm not sure. Then you have func timer, which you can use to trigger things after preset time delay, and you can target stuff to it, or have it target stuff. Well, you actually need it to target stuff, otherwise it's pointless, but you can have buttons or something to target it, to switch it on and let it do its stuff. What's about that? Func UG train, you can have that setting kind of like, you basically create brushes that'll move along a predetermined path. It's like AI people in games, where they all have their certain paths that they follow, but they can detour off them. Like in Grand Theft Auto, you know, when you got the traffic driving along, and you know, they're all driving along predetermined paths, but you know, you can crash into them, they'll be off that path, then they'll try to get back onto it. But this is like, you can't move it, okay? It'll go in its same direction, okay? You cannot change it. But it's good because it can go around the paths that you select. You tell it where to go. A func wall is basically a wall you can use to cut off certain parts of the map for certain game types. Okay, so say like for capture the flag, you want the whole map open. Good, okay, you can get rid of that wall. But for say Team Survivor, you want a smaller map, so you close off parts of it by putting a wall there where you want it closed off, and set it as a func wall, and set the game type to whatever you want it to be on. Okay, so that's that. Info now, that's used to target like lights. You can have lights targeted to create spotlights. It's really useful. Info player start, that's just a free-for-all start. It's useful if you're just creating maps and you're just like testing the map. Just create an info player start and you'll just spawn straight there. Bomb site, well, that's obviously where the bomb site's going to go. Usually spawn, that's for every other spawn for Urban Terror. Okay, you just set the game types. This model, as I showed you before, these things again. That's the points, as I told you before with the train. Okay, that it goes along. You use those as the points. Target delay. Okay, you target something like a trigger or a brush to it, trigger or a button, sorry, to it, and it'll activate it, and it will wait however long you say before it targets whatever it's targeting. Okay, a target give is like for ammo, so you can give ammo to the people and such. Target kill will kill the player instantly that presses the button or goes with the trigger or whatever. It's not recommended to use that. You're best off using what I'm going to show you soon. Target location, that is showing your location on the map. Okay, so like when you saying here I am at $sign location in the game, that's what it is, and you set what it says. Target position is for using target push or trigger push, so you can push people along, and it's just basically something to target to for a location to, you know, make something go there. Target print is big text that will come on the map. Okay, you use that for like a trigger brush, and will, when the person walks into it, it'll create a big text saying congratulations or something like that. Target push is what I just told you before, it'll push the player somewhere. Target relay is like delay, except it'll do it straight away. Move power-ups, that does not work. Target score, if you have like a trigger multiple brush, and say like you fire something into it, or it explodes in it, or something like that, you connect it to a target score and it'll give the team a score, or the player. Target speaker, that'll play some songs. You can have it trigger brush again, targeting it to create player only song. And target teleporter, well, it's a teleportation device, of course. Team capture point for capture and hold. blue flag, red flags. Okay. Trigger always. Okay, that means it'll trigger the whatever it's targeting at the start of the map. Okay, as soon as the map loads, it'll start. Yeah. See, that's the autosave thing. See, it does that. So it'll trigger always. Okay. Now I'll show you in a very later date when creating certain trigger multiple things. Oh no, trigger hurt things. How the trigger always can dramatically affect it. Okay, there are hidden, as I said, I think it might have been the first or the second one, it was either in the first two, but about how there are hidden things you can do with entities that it does not say in the notes. Okay, so you've got to remember that, okay? So, if it doesn't say it, but it says it for something else, just try it and see if it actually works, because it might. So you never know. A trigger location is just the same as the target location, except this time you create a massive trigger brush, and whenever they're inside of that trigger brush, it'll trigger the location. So that's a good way to be exactly specific, because that way you can actually be specific as to where they are in the map, as to what they are. Otherwise, because using the target location would just when the player does the location thing, the $sign location, it'll just go to the nearest one, and it might be in another room, which would be a different location. So that's why trigger location might be better. Trigger multiples are very good. Okay, you use that for the trigger brush, and you set it to a trigger multiple, so whenever they go inside it, it's like a button. Okay, so as soon as they go inside, it'll trigger off whatever it's centering at. Trigger push is the same as target push, except it's inside the trigger brush. Okay, trigger brush is very useful. Okay, it's in the common folder. So you see there, okay, you set something to a trigger brush, and you set it, okay, and then as soon as they walk inside that, if it's a trigger push, it'll push them to wherever you've got the target location or whatever. If it's a trigger multiple, it'll trigger off whatever it's got, whatever it's at. If it's a trigger hurt, oh, I skipped over hurt. Hey, but yeah, if it's a trigger hurt, it'll hurt the player to whatever damage value you set it as. So you can set a damage value at 100, so as soon as the player walks inside there, they're dead. Okay? And then you have trigger teleport, which is the same as the target one, except within the trigger brush. So this one is entirely dependent on you having the trigger brush. You see, well, I already showed you all these. Okay, these are all the weapons and stuff. You can set them to spawn in mid-air and freeze there, so they kind of just hover in mid-air, or you can let them drop to the ground. But that's all of it, so I'll finish off and I'll come back later with some other stuff.